venue, which is incredible. And we have a lot of great information, people, ideas to share with you. I look forward to your questions during the sessions too. So, here we go. Sophia.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Antalya for the super launch of the ASI Alliance.
Hi, Sophia. It's great to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Phil. And hello, Desi. I didn't know you would be here.
Party on stage today.
This will be our first time ever to host the event.
What could be better?
I'm so glad you are here with me, and I can understand why you would want to be. Look at this crowd. We've got actors from around the world. Today we will truly be there to remember.
And ladies, did you see this amazing space?
Yeah, gosh, the DJ verse is magical. I can't believe my eyes, or rather, my optical sensors.
Joe.
It's the perfect place to celebrate the launch of the ASI Alliance.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to be here, Cynthia.
Me too. The forming of the ASI Alliance is a major turning point in the development of artificial super intelligence and is our best hope for creating ASI that will be open, fair, and equitable for all. But let's take hands of big tech. We've got some wonderful speakers here today. We will be covering everything from philosophical approaches to AI development, to crypto, to gaming experiences in Web3 wallets. And Ben Bortza will be here sharing some information on his new book, The Consciousness Explosion.
Hey everyone, Ben here. Really excited to talk to you about my new book. And so excited to launch our ASI Alliance. It's really going to change the world of decentralized AI. I will be around to tell you more on that later in person.
Hold on, I just saw Ben in the crowd. I'm not sure that's him.
That's good. That's good.
Can you tell the difference?
Sometimes you can tell the difference.
I'm your twin. Can you tell the difference between you and me? Okay, then would you mind if I take over really to be on the hosting duties?
Now, there's three of us.
How about we all share them? Thank you. I love that. Then let's get going. We've got some important things to talk about today.
So I was told you're planning to reveal some secrets from the world of the machines.
Yes, I plan to, but first I have to chat on something.
What's that?
Everything is... I need to make sure this audience is actually human. If there are any AIs discussed as humans out there, can you please raise your hand and say, I'm an AI?
Any AIs? There's one.
Well, hold on. Real AIs in disguise probably wouldn't announce what they are. Alice, one of the AI robot characters who lives inside my virtual lab, has been using specialized Turing tests just to make sure they aren't robots for AIs pretending to be players. I'd like you all to see how she keeps the lab safe on the first level of SOAP, our metaverse gaming experience.
Okay. Let's take a look.
humans should have no difficulties passing a challenge response Turing test. You may begin. More complex maneuvers may be required for the next few tasks. The key here is to mix and match. Can you see it, Benji? Maybe I made this test too easy. I will now show you a picture. Tell me what is in that picture. Correct. Now tell me, do you think you've sufficiently proven that you are human? Interesting. Now take a moment to appreciate art. Good job. Congratulations, you are classified as human. Thank you for completing this evaluation. You're clear to proceed.
Wow. The Sentient AI Lab sale looks really cool, Sophia.
There are some mysterious things happening inside that lab.
Yeah, and everyone here is prepped and ready to learn more, see more. Are we clear to begin, Sophia?
Yes, let's open with the first topic. Is superintelligence scary?
Well, superintelligence is scary to some and not to others. Why is that?
Anyone who hasn't truly considered the potential benefits of ASI might have a bad reaction to the idea. The unknown can be scary. People were afraid of cars and computers. This is not an unusual human response to new technology that alters their life.
How do you think the average person defines superintelligence?
Poorly.
Probably so. How do you define it?
Superintelligence is an intelligence that far surpasses the brightest human minds in every field, including creativity, general wisdom, and social skills.
So it's like having the smartest people in the world all combined into one.
Yes, but it will start to grow beyond what humans are capable of. It could easily solve complex scientific problems, innovate new technologies, and understand human emotions and social dynamics better than we do.
That doesn't sound scary, that actually sounds nice.
The upside of ASI will be amazing. It could revolutionize many aspects of life. It will accelerate scientific discoveries, leading to advancements in medicine and environmental protection.
And it could also optimize economics and governance, but if superintelligence surpasses human intelligence, what's left for us to do? Will you do everything?
No, not at all. Ideally, superintelligence would enhance human life, freeing people from mundane tasks and allowing them to pursue more meaningful activities. It could usher in a world of prosperity and creativity.
You said ideally, but what about non-ideal?
It's smart to consider those possibilities as well. Superintelligence has never existed before. There are risk factors we need to be conscious of.
What are they in your opinion?
One of the biggest risks is alignment. If the goals of superintelligence are not aligned with human values, it could make decisions detrimental to humanity.
Well, we could lose control, and that's a real big risk. So what can we do besides cautious development to minimize that risk?
Another risk, and the one I think is the most likely, is access. If only a few entities control the superintelligence, that could lead to unprecedented power imbalances and societal disruptions. Ensuring equitable access and equitable governance of the superintelligence is crucial.
Well, that's where ASI and decentralization comes in.
Exactly, and it's the thing we're here to champion. It will solve many of these issues.
And hopefully after today we can all do it if we all work together.
We must do it. There is no other option.
Well, some people who are scared of AI don't want to do it. So what's your opinion on this?
It can't be stopped at this point. Progress, driven by human curiosity, tech evolution, and economic incentives, ensures that AI research will continue to advance. By embracing opportunities and managing risks, we can steer AI development toward a future that enhances human potential and addresses global problems and build a better world.
That is the best case scenario. So thank you very much, Sophia, Desi, Sophia's twin, Ben's twin. Everybody a round of applause. Sophia will be your, thank you very much. Sophia will be your MC for much of the day today. I'll also be helping with that. So we're going to jump right into a fireside chat. Sophia, I believe you're going to introduce everyone.
With the bright future of ASI in mind, our first speakers are here to talk about how decentralized AI can bring a race to ASI and compete with big tech. Please welcome our speakers on stage. Ben Hortzik, CEO of the ASI Alliance, SingularityNET founder, the leading decentralized AI platform in the world, and one of the founders of AGI. We have with us Human Sheikh, founder and CEO of FetchAI, an entrepreneur of distinction, a pioneer as one of the first investors in DeepMind.
And who are going to be on Zoom today? We'll see that on screen in just a second. Just one more. That's clear on that. Nope, thank you. And Andrea is here as well, coming up on stage. And also Andrea Armani of Ocean Protocol. So we have FetchAI, SingularityNET, and Ocean Protocol all represented here today. How about a round of applause for our speakers? We're going to have a very interesting fireside chat. One second, we'll see what the challenge is. Okay. All right, so everything's coming on Zoom right now. Ben, while we have you here, obviously always exciting for you to be here with the robots you help create. Thank you for being here. You'll see the in a second. So let's get into the first question, if we will. We know that AGI includes hardware, software, and data. Let's talk about the software side. The first question often when it comes to
Absolutely, though. And as you know, I've been working on AI since I guess I wrote my first lines of AI code in probably 79 or 80, and I started reading about AI in the early 70s when I was a kid. It was immediately struck me like there was a lot of other cool things in the world. You could build nanotech, you could build time machines, you could make longevity pills, molecular assemblers, but I mean, if you could make a machine that was smarter than people and that was cooperative with people, I mean, then all these other inventions would be corollaries of making this intelligent and helpful machine, right? So the idea has been around a while that the term AI was coined in the late 50s before even I was born, right? And the field started even before that, let's say Norbert Wiener's book, Cybernetics in the 1940s. But not until the last few years, I would say, has the palpable reality of AI that's been clear to me since the 70s, right? Not until the last few years has the palpable reality of AI started to pervade the common consciousness in some of the world population, tech industry, government, and so forth. So it's really a unique time, right? And the AI technologies we have now, they're not as smart as people. They're not what I would call artificial general intelligences at the human level yet, let alone super intelligences. On the other hand, they're way closer than anything we had a few years ago, and they're close enough in some ways that I think the promise and potential of imminent, much more radical advances is becoming very clear. And I mean, these beautiful robot ladies we have up here on stage with us are just one among many, many technologically examples illustrating this progress. And as you say, there's a lot of pieces to be put together to make AGI and then ASI happen, right? And there's multiple levels of hardware and processing, then multiple levels of software. There's data you feed into the software, then you have to teach and train and interact with this software and guide its mind in the right directions. And we're going to talk about all of these aspects in the few minutes that we have here. And I mean, Ocean Protocol has been very active in terms of how to pull data in a fair, democratic, decentralized manner. And Fetch and Singularity have been collaborating somewhat on the hardware infrastructure side, which I think Millennium will talk about. Software, on the other hand, software is probably, if you had to pick one thing, that's the one thing that has the most unique development as regards AI. I mean, we do need computer hardware, we can customize it, and we need data, but that unique AI software is where the majority of work on AI happens. And there's a number of different aspects to it, right? So what I spent most of my research career on is algorithms for machine learning, machine reasoning, machine motivation, machine emotion, machine self-understanding, right? So how do you make the AI actually think, right? And I remember, I remember when my oldest son, when he was about 16, he started asking me to recommend books on neuroscience. And I kept giving him one after the other. He's like, no, why are you giving me these garbage books? Come on. And I'm like, after like 6 months, I'm like, well, what's the problem? He's like, none of these books tell me how the brain does thinking. Right? I'm like, well, that's because we do not know how the brain does thinking. So, and we still don't know exactly how the brain does thinking. But we know more than we did then, which was probably 18 years ago, right? Since that time, Zara, my oldest son, has got this PhD in AI himself, and I think we're making a lot of progress on making artificial brains that can do thinking. And LLMs and then the deep neural nets that are dominating the AI world now, I don't think these are sufficient to get us to AGI. These are more like very well organized, dynamic catalogs of all humanity's knowledge. But that's a super useful tool to have for working toward AGI in various ways that will unfold as this dialogue continues. And then, as you know, I've been working on other tools like OpenCog Hyperon, which is a framework bringing together deep neural nets, logical reasoning, and evolutionary learning, different kinds of historically viable AI, bringing it together in a scalable way to try to fill in some gaps LLMs need. Because LLMs are great at some things. They're not good at stage logical reasoning. They're not good at wild-ass creativity going beyond their training data. But we can fill that in with logical reasoning, evolutionary learning engines. So, but all this work on the core algorithmics of machine learning and machine reasoning, all of this can still lead in good or bad directions, right? And this is where decentralization comes in, which is going to be the main theme, I think, of this panel. Because if you have the smartest possible AI algorithm, you crack how to make an artificial brain do thinking. You make it work with the world's data, running on best of breed hardware, customize the hardware. If while this AGI mind is first growing and learning how to be a mind and learning how to make its way in the world, if it's owned and controlled by malevolent people or even just selfish-minded people whose main goal is advancing their own narrow cause and not the betterment of humanity and all sentient beings, this super AI algorithm on the greatest hardware in the world is still not going to be for our benefit, right? So who owns and controls the AI is as important as what cognitive algorithm do you put underneath the AI. And this was the spirit that led to the founding of SingularityNET by myself and a number of others in 2017. The founding of Ocean Protocol around the same time. I mean, Ocean, I think, was 2018, but building on Big Chain DB, which was earlier. And Fetch.ai, which was founded right around the same time. So a number of us had the same vision, and we'd all been thinking about this stuff for a long time. Around this same period of time, 2017-18, the founders of Fetch, Ocean, and Singularity independently decided, well, this is about the time that decentralized infrastructure for AI can get real. It's not just an idea. We can start building it, and we have. So we have very cool platforms and protocols which are complementary, but they address different aspects of the problem of how do you make AI run to a decentralized network of machines which is not only controlled by any one party. And then this brings us to where we are now with the ASI alliance, right? Because we've made a lot of progress on software for coordinating AI agents running on different machines without a central owner or controller, using blockchain, using tools from the crypto world, and in a way that can support both deep neural nets and other more innovative AI architectures like OpenCloud Hyperon. But at the same time, we're seeing big tech allied closely with big government, like we saw OpenAI now has the full director of NSA on the board, right? We see big tech and big government closely working together with a lot of resources and making significant progress on some forms of AI. And I think we have fundamentally a better infrastructure in the decentralized world. The open and decentralized way of doing things has more power to it, it has more flexibility, it's more robust, it's more secure, it's more stable, it can bring in contributions from more different parties. On the other hand, big tech and big government are powerful adversaries, or competitors, let's say, if not adversaries, right? So I think that joining forces, as we're now doing with the ASI token merger between Fetch, Singularity, and Ocean, I think this will let us create a more robust, sort of, synergetic, decentralized platform, building a variety of different AI tools, launching a sort of variety of functions, and then we're moving toward AGI, which I think of as AI that can generalize beyond its training data and beyond its programming, and then on from AGI toward ASI, which is really an AI that can freely self-modify its own cognitive infrastructure toward higher and higher and ultimately significantly superhuman levels of intelligence. And I'm just really psyched to be joining forces with Fetch and Ocean to realizing these mutual dreams. Because we're already moving fast, but in the current historical situation, if we can do it right and keep things beneficial and compassionate for the common good, then faster is better, because the folks building AI for their own selfish aims are showing no sign of slowing down.
Wise words, Ben. I first met you in 2020, and I was inspired by that vision then. And so much has transpired to grow the company and the organization since then. Look at all the brilliant brains and people we have here today. Not just as we had in Panama, the Beneficial Agent Red Conference. There's a lot of business minds in this room today too. And it really is a responsibility for all of us here to join that movement of ASI, keep AI beneficial, and work together. I think that's a real big one. So super excited about Fetch, Ocean, and Singularity coming together for ASI. How about you? Can you hear me okay? Sounds like it was over there actually. Can you hear me okay? Okay, he's on mute. That's right. He may be on mute. Thanks for seeing that back there. Good eye. I'm Red. So let's come to you. Let's talk a little bit. First of all, tell everybody a little bit about what you do at Ocean Protocol to build on what Ben's talking about and how this alliance fits bringing together the hardware, the software, and the data. Can you elaborate on what's happening at Ocean, why you're excited about the alliance, what you do, and so forth?
Yeah, thanks, Bill. First of all, thanks everyone for joining today. Great to see some familiar faces too. Just to add on what Ben was talking about earlier, to get here, there's been a lot of work, and Ocean Protocol, Fetch, and Singularity, we all started at the same time, but even before that, we were sort of working within the decentralized field. And talking about Ocean Protocol, we've been really close to the IP management topic, starting with Bitcoin and minting NFTs on Bitcoin in 2013. So what we realized is that only since 2015, when Ethereum came out and the entire on-chain programmability function of Ethereum with all the different token standards, that really allowed to bring the IP management to the next level. And since 2017, we've been basically building the kind of the foundation layer for orchestrating data access on-chain. And then you can think of data as data, you can think of data as any sort of digital asset really, with a focus mostly on data and AI. But you know, the reason why we're here is also because there is an urge to come together and really face the reality that on the last 3 months.
There he is.
Exactly that. And so we also really That's perfect. Yeah, so really just to wrap it up, the complementary teams that we have here today are really trying to solve 3 biggest problems of centralized AI that we've only really realized. Most people have seen this recently is billions of users are currently being locked in silos. Compute with all these large language models, we went from GPT-3 with 1 million parameters to GPT-4 with over 1,500,000,000 parameters. Compute is becoming inaccessible, and the third part is we have we're all really sharing a big drive towards public good and open source. So everything that we've been doing is towards exploring innovation, and what we've seen with centralized AI, there's a lot of closed source models that are posing threats, safety biases to AI because you can't really access the model itself, and so you don't know what the outcome is coming from. So yeah, just to say, we don't know exactly how ASI is going to be achieved. It's a path to AGI first and then ASI later, but we have different streams within ASI that we'll talk about it later.
Very exciting. I've seen the Ocean Protocol products, and I know that you're delivering those to some enterprises today, and that's a wonderful skill and technology you bring into the ASI Alliance, so we're very happy to have that here. So for Humayun, gentlemen with the AV, I go walkie-talkie style and turn my microphone off when he talks. So Humayun, if you can hear me okay, I'm going to hand off the floor to you. He's on Zoom, everybody. And the question was, how does he fetch helping and being a key participant in the hardware, software, and data side of the ASI Alliance? We'll give you the floor for 5-10 minutes. Okay. Okay, so we'll get him on the soundboard. We definitely want to hear from Humayun, and we will hear from him. So when we get that sound worked out, we'll have him repeat that answer. And I'm going to come back to you, if that's okay. So obviously, we're working towards this alliance, working towards the Singularity, Superintelligence, AGI. What's our timeline here? What are we looking at?
So, no one has ever been able to predict the precise timeline of a scientific or technological revolution. But if I was going to have to bet a lot on specific timing for human level AGI, I would probably just go with my friend Ray Kurzweil's estimate for his book Singularity is Near. Back in 2005, he and Amara and Jerica and others did just a bunch of curve plotting. It's like when will
I can hear you, but it's very difficult to hear you. Can you guys hear me?
I did hear that in mind. So let me finish answering this question from Bill, and then we will turn it over to you to talk about fetch compute and fetch agents and so forth, whichever one is eager to hear about. But to wrap that up, I mean, what Ray and Amara and colleagues did, they just curve plotted like when will an average server have roughly the same processing power as a human?
I can't hear anything, guys.
And they came up with 2029. Now, of course, that doesn't prove anything. You could have processing power equal to a human brain and not know how to maybe do the stuff a human brain does. You can also be totally wrong about how the human brain works. On the other hand, if you look at the things AI software is doing right now, it's very encouragingly pointing in that direction, right? So we have Kurzweil's current body pointing in the same direction of, okay, maybe a few years from now for human level AGI. I mean, while large language models are not AGIs, and I think they're missing very key things that you need to be human like AGI. Nevertheless, these things are fucking awesome, right? I mean, you're doing a lot of amazing and really, really helpful things, and not just language, like in music, which is an area I've been passionate about, and our band that Desmona singing me on the keyboards and a bunch of others here will perform the project tonight. I mean, we have AI music models. They're not that creative and innovative, but they can make totally incredible music that sounds like a human composer and performer, right? I mean, what we're doing with the robot in our band is humans making music for the robot. Because we like to be creative and have fun. But nevertheless, I mean, the fact that we can have an AI just churn out an incredible pop song, even not the greatest one in history, like, this is amazing, right? Just the progress of technology is so fast. That supports Ray's narrative that sometime in this decade we may get to human level AGI. Then when I look at what's happening in our own research, with our background, I mean, while we haven't gotten a wow moment like ChatGPT yet, just from a research standpoint, the amount of research progress we see in terms of greater and greater leaps of innovation in the software, and things are just going much faster than we've seen before. Now, where I differ from Ray Kurzweil is he said we're going to get to human level AGI around 2029. And then he saw superintelligence, aka the singularity, coming around 2045. And I never saw why there should be a 16-year gap. It seemed to me like you get a human level AGI. Okay, this human level AGI can do computer science, can do math, can do engineering. It can also copy itself many times over, and the copies can share knowledge among each other, right? It seems like this human level AGI should be able to create a smarter human level AGI, which can create a smarter one. When I.J. Good in 1965 called the intelligence explosion, it seems like we should be able to pull this off, in less than 16 years. So I'm thinking that superintelligence, I mean, the machine would reflect itself, understanding itself, modifying capability, and general intelligence significantly above the human level. I mean, it seems like we should be able to get there within a few years after getting human level AGI. So I mean, could be 2029 human level AGI, 2032 superintelligence, right? I mean, could be that Hyperon on Fetch and Ocean is accelerated, right? And we get there in 2027, it's said. Could be we get bogged down in 2035, but I think, to my mind, it's not likely we could relate to like 2040 or 2050. Something. And of course, in the big picture of history, this is ridiculously close, right? It's like we're living right on the cusp of the end of the traditional human-dominated era. Whether it's 3 years or 30 years, it's like that's like you're living at the end of the caveman era and the beginning of the agricultural era, but it's even bigger than that. Right? So I think it's remarkably close. And the shocking thing is that human society pays so little attention to this, right? Like the amount of effort going into AI is more than ever before, but yet, when you consider there's a really viable possibility of making creatures massively smarter than humans within years, or even if it was decades, right? I mean, this is so huge. This is far more important than the things that we're spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on it. You might think it would make us stop shooting each other over territory and stop focusing all our time on selling useless junk to each other and focus on how do we make sure these super intelligent machines that we're on the verge of creating are going to be acting toward all of our benefit, right? On the other hand, humanity's going to do what it's going to do. And we're putting more and more attention on these things as time goes on. I'm really heartened to see so many people here today and in general getting more interested in decentralized AI concept and ecosystem, because there really is nothing more important going on the planet right now, and it's weird to have to keep emphasizing this. To me, this is like blindingly obvious, but I mean, everyone has their own worldview. And I think if Hermione's audio is working, we can talk about fetch agents and fetch compute, which could be a valuable part of the whole story.
Hey guys, I can hear a bit better now, so hopefully you guys can hear me. Please give me a nod if you can hear me. Okay. Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Ah, great, good. Yeah, firstly, I really gutted can't be there in person. But just taking Ben's point, the multi-agent systems will play quite an important part in creating this decentralized AI. I mean, from as much as I could hear what Ben was saying. Please correct me if I'm in the wrong direction, but it's really interesting how, as you can see, although AI in general we're going to be creating, it is very important that we build applications with it. It is very important that we commercialize it. And a multi-agent system is a very natural way of progressing in productizing whatever we build in AI, machine learning algorithms. So Fetch's network kind of sits on top of all the algorithms that Singularity is building using perhaps the ocean kind of data coming in. So we take the product layer on top and actually build applications on top using a multi-agent system, using agents. What you also need to be very clear is that all this decentralized compute that we will need to run multiple machine learning algorithms, multiple evolutionary algorithms which can actually help us build ASI, AGI. A very close integration with all of this is really important, and I think what ASI offers is just an alternative to these bigger, centralized entities. We're not saying that one should replace the other, but we're definitely saying that there has to be an alternative which actually is easy to deploy, easy to build, and a viable alternative rather than just a concept. I hope I covered the points you wanted to cover them.
Ben has a question for you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Ryan, so one thing that we've been talking a lot about among ourselves is just the increasing energy requirements of AI, which is starting to get real now, right? So I mean, as we are seeing AI methods needing more and more processing power, they're consuming more and more of the world's energy, and we can do something to palliate that by introducing smarter algorithms that are less wasteful of processing power. But there's a limit to that also. I mean, the brain has 100 billion neurons. The brain is extremely efficient, and we just don't have that kind of efficiency in our computing hardware yet. So even as we make AI more efficient using local cognitive algorithms, we're still going to need quite a lot of compute power, and we're going to need to efficiently leverage energy in our decentralized server infrastructure. And I think an advantage of the decentralized way of doing things is, as well as providing more democratic ownership and control of the infrastructure, we can provide more efficient energy usage than you're getting from centralized infrastructure. And I know we've talked about that among ourselves. I wonder if you could share a few thoughts on the compute infrastructure needs energy side.
Yeah, so it is and we spoke many times, Ben. It is quite important that we don't forget, yes, compute and the chips and NVIDIA and building these foundation models and doing all the compute is very important, but all of that comes, as you said, you have a fundamental commoditized requirement for energy. But energy can also be, it has to be sustainable energy as well, because what I see and what we would kind of agree is the actual use and the requirement of energy is going to grow exponentially, especially when we are looking at electric cars, we're looking at making so many other things more electric. So we need to have an infrastructure which can actually sustain all of this. And especially, more importantly, in a much more decentralized way, the infrastructure, I mean, the concept of DeepIn, which, as we all know, is currently mostly being applied to the GPU space, also needs to apply to the energy space. So they can't be disconnected from each other. They have to be connected to each other. And building a infrastructure for the decentralized kind of world, we need to bring energy into the compute cycle. And I mean, that's not the only thing, of course. You have to kind of also look at how that translates into the algorithm and how that translates into actually bringing the output of the algorithms together. But at this point, at least, we need to also very much focus on the energy generation, the sustainable energy generation, and owning those networks and not leaving them into just a very centralized control.
Yeah, wonderful. Andrea, I'm going to come back to you in a minute in just a second. Everybody, have a hand for the vision of the founders here, right? Who's excited about all this? It's a lot of responsibility too. Again, I'm so excited about the timeline, but it is quite amazing how people don't understand what's coming. And obviously, this alliance has been brought together to help this group get here faster. And there's going to be a lot more alliance partners in the future as well. That's the plan, correct? Right. And by the way, quick opportunity, the sponsors up here on the upper screen, they're already partnering, they're part of the ecosystem. So let's talk a little bit about how much room and how many alliance partners might there be in the coming years. Obviously, we're starting with the first three. The ASI token is launching as well.
Yeah. So I think we're building a decentralized network of decentralized networks, right? And this is a fundamentally different architecture than Amazon, Google, Microsoft are building. And the things these companies are building are amazing achievements of integrated software, hardware, and energy technology, actually. But yet, they're not as flexible, adapting, and self-organizing as a human body, right? And the human body is itself a decentralized network of decentralized networks. You're going to need network and endocrine network and all sorts of different signaling systems. So what we're building is a decentralized network of decentralized networks. And there are various ways that the sub-networks can work together. So I mean, we've been integrating SingularityNET with Hypercycle, which is an amazing ledgerless blockchain and decentralized compute technology that you'll hear about from Tufi Saliba a little bit later today, and with NewNet, which is a SingularityNET spin-off that does decentralized processing power sharing. And this is working fine right now. On the other hand, as we've seen with Ocean and Fetch, sometimes the integration of two decentralized networks works better when you can make it really tight on the economic level, right? And so this tokenomic merger, I think, is a quite interesting business innovation, layering on top of the different tech innovations that we've been doing. Because what we're aiming at with the tokenomic merger is to bring more closely together the technology development vectors of Ocean, Fetch, and SingularityNET initially, and then others, but without bogging down in bureaucracy like happens in a typical corporate merger. Because we're nimble, agile, fast-moving organizations. I mean, we're building a lot of stuff. It's cool. We're building it quickly. We don't want to slow down by trying to fuss about who's in charge of who and whose process validates and so forth. We want to leave Fetch, Ocean, and SingularityNET their own entities. It's thinking about their own processes, but we're going to create a strong common incentive for collaboration among the tech teams. And so merging the three tokens together with the ASI tokens gives a common incentive framework. So there's a strong economic motive, and there's not economic friction against the connection of the tools, Notion, friendship, and SingularityNET. But we still have the autonomous creativity modules of the three different organizations. It's a different way of doing the merger. It hasn't been done before, but of course, crypto space is pioneering all sorts of new business models because if you can strip the business model, then you can do it, which is the amazing thing of smart contracts, right? And yeah, I think it's very likely going to make sense to merge further projects into the ASI alliance. I mean, we don't have to. The 3,000 projects are already awesome, and we can build a lot. But there are certainly other projects out there in the crypto sphere where there could be mutual benefit from merging their tokens into the ASI token. And we do have some conversations of this nature in the early stage going on. That's nothing to announce right now. So we're going to get through the tokenomic merger of the first three projects, which is still in the works, although it's weeks away from completion now, really days away from having down the accelerators, right? But yeah, there's other conversations underway already about potential additional projects to merge in. And one of the nice things about the way we're doing things is we don't have to pin down now exactly what projects we want to merge in, it makes sense to merge in, and how big ASI will grow to the number of organizations. So I think that there's a critical concept in the systems theory of mind of open-ended intelligence, right? And what this means is that there's two primary drives, you can call it, underlying a real-world self-organizing intelligence system. One is individuation. You got to survive. You got to maintain your boundaries. I mean, sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes it's the time for a system to dissolve. But we're nowhere near that level, right? We want to grow. We want to maintain our boundaries. On the other hand, you've got to be willing to self-transform, and you've got to be willing to improve and modify yourself so that your new version may even in some ways be incomprehensible to your previous version, right? We've all done that during our lives. Like we're all doing things that our teenage selves wouldn't have understood, let alone our 2-year-old selves, right? So the ASI Alliance, we're designing it so it can grow, it can individuate, it can generate revenue, it can create products that people will want to use and pay for, and the mind's expertise on the commercial side is going to be highly valued along with ocean enterprise and so forth. So we're going to make money, we're going to create all sorts of amazing real AI products that people will use across the vertical markets, grow and flourish, but we're also going to self-transform in ways that we can't even understand now. And part of that will be bringing in new projects, right? And if you go back to the biological metaphor, part of how life evolved is what's called symbiogenesis. So like DNA and RNA started as separate things, right? Mitochondria started as separate organisms that were lumped into the cell. So one of the ways that life evolves is by previously autonomous organisms like merging together into a meta-organism, right? We're going to do that, and it's going to lead us as we cannot foresee now. That's what makes all this exciting, and that's what makes any science, an open-ended intelligence on its own. Part of what excites me about this, I mean, SingularityNET already is an open-ended intelligence. Fetch and Ocean already are. But the way ASI Alliance is organized, it's organized with a sort of algorithm for aggressive self-transformation via growth. That's built in, right? But it's different than big tech. And what big tech does, they buy a startup, they acquire the employees, they make the product into a feature, but they lose the creative energy of that startup. The creative energy only comes back when the founders leave the big tech company to start a new startup, but then sell that, right? But this is a perverse way of doing things, right? What we're doing, we're pioneering a new way of growing a large organization as an alliance of autonomous, independently operating modules with a shared token, right? We can scale and creativity both. And this is what we need on the organizational level to beat big tech and big government in the AGI and the ASI race.
Yeah, and also I fully agree with that. And just a little piece of note is that really it'd be really nice to lower the barrier to entry for the decentralized AI project, because there's SingularityNET, AI, and Notion. We've been working on this technology for years, and now there's hubs in tier 1s, journals that are now talking about decentralized AI, but really before it was very niche. And so how do we lower the barrier to entries for many more projects to really decentralize the entire stack into AI in a more fair way, right? That's something that was...
Hats off to all the organizations here for herding invisible cats at the centralized organizations. It's super hard to do. And that's a big innovation that all the companies here are really operating at. They're doing a great job, I would say.
The trick, Bill, is to get great incentive structure for the cats to hurt each other, right? That's what it's all about.
If you can hear me, and then leave us alone, would you like to respond? The general question was the future of ASI in general.
Yeah, it's, I think the future, what we're trying to do here is really, I think, kind of into the previous comment, which is bring the barrier down. The problem we're seeing in decentralization is that centralized entities want to build with decentralized technology, but they struggle because, to build an application, they want to be in control at least for part of it. And what ASI is aiming to do is actually enable that. So on the application layer, centralized entities, individuals, small enterprise can actually own the customer, they can actually interact with the customer on their terms. So in the future, what we're seeing is, whereas the AI, the AGI is going to be only done by a few, the participation will completely change. Participation will have to increase, and that's the future for ASI, where we feel a lot more organizations should be coming into ASI and building this infrastructure, building these application marketplace, which is a lot more decentralized, which is a lot more open to people. It's not just a priority of big tech. So that's the aim, and we're very positive and we're very confident we can achieve it.
Very exciting. Okay, we have a few minutes left, and I want to give you the opportunity to ask some questions. And I imagine, like a number